Hey everyone, this is Alisa Williams here with the Honorable Troy Chadwick. I say honorable because it is my honor to have him on my podcast. Before we start, though, guys, we're going to do a little cheer dance to shake some things up. So let's rock and roll. Are you ready, Troy?
I'm ready. Absolutely.
Let's do it. Let's see how well you can do it.
Nice. Nice. What's the name of this song?
It says happy.
I like it.
Let me get the sun out of our eyes. Woo!
Love it. It's definitely a happy song.
Yeah. Feel that groove?
Love it.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that because we just shook out any negative energy that was in the space. It's gone. It wasn't even here before because we have two great like energy, and we don't allow energy like that in our space. So, Troy, gosh, thank you so much for your time, your presence, for who you are, and everything else that comes with it.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Very happy to be here.
Gosh, I get the googles on it. I just want to blush. Can you see me blush, guys? So, Troy, without further ado, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and just about your why? How did you come into being this magnificent, phenomenal person that you are today?
Well, this is interesting. Tell you about my why.
Yeah.
And, I used to dig into that. Matter of
Mhm.
fact, a lot of times people say, well, what's your why? Start with why. And actually, I've discovered that it's not about that. It's about what.
Mm.
And that's something that a lot of people really don't ask.
Mhm.
They're always saying they need to start with why, but it's really not true. What you really got to ask is, what do you want? What do you really want for your life? That's actually one of the most powerful questions that you can ever continuously ask yourself over and over and over again. Now, what's interesting is once you know what it is that you want, you'll just start like moving towards it. Now, in terms of why, I don't know why I want what I want. I just know that I want it. Okay. And really think about that. Think about the importance of that, of just wanting something so much that it really doesn't matter, or you can't even explain why, because it's embedded deep in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My intuition have always told me this. It's not my business to know the why.
Yeah.
It's the what I want.
Yeah.
And it's
That's right.
funny how synchronous that goes by. I asked you why, and I open up I normally write little affirmations across my book.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what's across the book?
What's it?
It says, what?
Yeah.
What would I have to change to be happy?
There you go.
Isn't that so synchronous that you corrected and redirected the question in the way that it should be formed? And here it is. The first page I open up is that phrase. Love it. Like attract like, indeed.
So, yeah, and that's really important because, again, that led me to tap into this, what I share a lot. And it's dealing with, why we are where we are and what's in the way of making the change, and it's so awesome is once I discovered that and really tapped into that, that's all I've been basically wanting to do is share it.
Well, we're going to dive some more into that, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you mentioned in one of your talks that we live on 3 planes of life: spiritual, intellectual, and physical, and how they relate to thoughts, ideas, and results. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, this is really important because let's tie this into the first, question that was here, that I said would be like the most important question that you can ever ask yourself continuously. What do I want?
Yeah.
And most people, when they think in terms of a question like that, they think from what they need instead of what they want, not understanding that their needs, if they only focus from what they need, that's as far as they'll go, when the wants are way beyond that. Now, in terms of those wants that you have, well, what are they? See, what they are, they're results. Think about that. I want that. That's a result that you want to deliver. Now, that's extremely important to understand at a very deep level, that is something that happens after. There's an effect. Think of it in terms of sowing and reaping, cause and effect. Well, when you understand that the results in life are solely because of a cause, which everything has a cause, then that's when what this question down here is going to be really super important, because it's going to help you to get whatever you want. Now, just look around you right now. Just look around you. Everything. Just start looking around at things right here. I got my phone. I got this microphone here. I got the keyboard. You got books. I'm looking at my lights, the curtains on the back wall. 100% of all of that is what? That's effect. They're results. Okay. Now you really want your mind blown on this. 100% of everything that you just looked at was first a thought before it became the idea, before it became the thing.
True.
Yeah. Now that's important, because if you're wanting to deliver a different result in your life, one of the key things that would be beneficial for you to understand is understanding how everything moves into form. Okay. Now, in terms of the three planes of understanding that we are all living on simultaneously, is, the top is the spiritual, then you have the intellectual, and then you have the physical. The physical, the results. We live in this physical world. We have this physical body to get things done, to get those physical results. Okay, now thoughts. Now, another way to look at this, from spiritual to the intellectual to the physical, is thoughts to the ideas to the things. Now, really soak this in. Thoughts, ideas, things. I just shared with you to look around you at everything that was physical. Well, everything that you just looked at was a thought before it became an idea, before it became a thing. In other words, it was thought into a result.
All right. I think
and that's how we're hardwired.
I think James Allen says, "As a man thinketh."
That's right. That's right. And then, but that even goes deeper, because we're talking about what's in you subconsciously. Now, let's dig into the importance of understanding how we are hardwired to go from the thoughts to the ideas to the things, because that's how things are created. Created. Now, where most of us get frustrated, confused when things aren't working out, is because we're trying to do things out of order.
Right.
Okay. We try to make the change, but unfortunately we have the habit of focusing on the results, on the things. Let's say, like, for instance, your bank account sucks. Okay. And that's an effect.
Right.
Okay. There's more month at the end of the money, right? That's the effect. Having said this, that result happened because of ideas, which were first started by thoughts. Get it? Thoughts, ideas, things. That's the result. And see, when most of us unfortunately think, which really not thinking, is just habit, we try to go out of order. And what do? We start thinking from the result. Okay, so there's the result. The example is the bank account sucks. We look at the bank account, it sucks, not understanding that whatever we focus on automatically puts a thought in our mind. And then when you hold that thought, you're focusing on that, it's a thought, then it leads to the ideas, which are the same ideas which delivered the result. See, what you're doing is you're just inviting into your mind the very same way of thinking that led to that problem. You're screwed, you're toast. It's a vicious cycle. Nothing's changing. Why is nothing changing? You know why? Because I keep thinking from the results instead of what I want.
Wow.
Now let's go a little bit deeper here, because this is extremely important. See, that's a cycle down to hell. That's a cycle to disintegration.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of people feel that, right? They're just, they for instance, they want change, right? And there's a result they don't like, but all they talk about is the very result that they don't like.
Right.
And then what happens is the same thoughts, same ideas, boom, same thing happens over and over again. Okay.
Right.
So most people, though, when they say that, what do they say? My life's upside down. Right? My life's upside down. Nothing's changing. Well,
nothing's right.
But when in actuality, their life's actually downside up. Because they're thinking from the downside up. They're thinking from the results. See, that's the results. Remember, thoughts, ideas, things, spiritual, intellectual, physical. It always flows in that order. And most people think from here, they start here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it leads to a thought, which then leads to the same ideas, which led to that result, vicious cycle. See, their life's actually downside up.
Right.
Now, if you don't want that, you've got to actually think upside down. You've got to think from what you would love to happen. So in other words, think in terms of, again, those three planes of understandings, from the spiritual, the intellectual, the physical. Okay, fine. There may be a result that you are experiencing in life that you don't like. If you don't like that, don't give it attention.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I don't want that. And instead focus from what you want. Focus from the idea that you would love to actualize. Why? Because energy flows to and through you from your thoughts.
I love it.
Okay. And this is why most people, for instance, are broke, why they're continually broke, why they're continually sad, is because they're not changing how they're thinking.
So the importance of changing this cycle is really key to shift in our lives.
That's right. Because if you don't change not what you think, if you don't change how you think, nothing's going to change.
I have a hashtag on my website that says healing from the inside out.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about that, by the way. Okay, so the spiritual, the intellectual, the physical. That's another way of focusing from the outside in.
Yes.
Focusing on the results of your life, the results. Don't be that person. You've got to do exactly what you just said. You got to focus from the inside out. From the inside out, from the upside down. That's how you're going to change your life dramatically.
You introduced me to a powerful book that you study, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Someone is saying a comment here. Harvinder. Harvinder.
Hi, Harvey.
He says hi and good afternoon, beautiful people. So hi, Harvey. It's great to see you. Back to that, though. You introduced me to psychocybernetics, and in it talks about steering our compass in the direction, but to steer it, we have to have a creative image inside of us. So the next question I want to ask you about is, what is the role of self-image in creating your best self and achieving the success and changing that pattern that's showing up?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is extremely important because every single one of us has what's called a self-image. And another way to think that is the way that we see ourselves automatically. It's rooted in beliefs and habitual thought patterns. And most of these beliefs, even though they may not be visible, they are there complete down to the last detail. It actually says this in the book, point blank. It's there. But having said this, most of these beliefs have been formed from our past experiences, our successes, failures, triumphs, especially the way other people have reacted to us in early childhood. And see, with those experiences forms what's called a self-image. And in terms of that self-image, with whatever it is, we run our lives based from it. And we believe it. Why? Because it's what we believe to be true about ourselves. Now, really think about that, because an individual, you, me, all of us, none of us will be able to go through and do anything that's not in harmony with what we believe to be true. It just doesn't work that way. We always follow through with what we believe to be true. And that's huge, because the self-image it's there. You can never, ever outperform it. I mean, I was just, talking to someone recently who wanted to go up and speak up on a stage. And then, but it was says, but I can't do that because I'm shy. And then I says, that's not true. You're conditioned to be shy. See, that's what you believe. You believe that you're shy. You think that you're shy. That's what you believe. And isn't it interesting how you're not going up on the stage because that's what you believe to be true? That, oh, what if I mess up? What if I, all of that rubbish? And all it is just conditioning. Now, here's the kicker. Most of those beliefs that you have about yourself, that every one of us has about ourselves, again, they came from other people.
Yeah.
They came from experiences. And then what do? We claim them as our own. We've adopted them. Think about what adoption is. Adoption is the act whereby we claim ownership of something. And then we walk around saying, this is who I am. This is who. No, that's not true. That's how you've been conditioned. Now, in terms of the self-image, Maxwell Maltz, actually have the book here on my desk, Psycho-Cybernetics. He points out that this discovery of the self-image is incredible. And this is actually one of two discoveries. One is that there is a self-image that we literally run from. And then the second discovery is that you can change it. You can change it to be whatever concept you want of yourself. Now think about that. That's beautiful. You do not have to consent to things as they are. You do not have to consent to the beliefs that you have. Right. Now, really, I want you to hone in on that. Yeah. I'm going to ask a powerful question. Is what you believe about a person, about a situation, about yourself, the truth? Or is
yes,
it,
because you believe it.
Or is it your truth?
Your truth. It's my truth.
That's right. That means, now think about that. That means it's your truth. That's what you believe.
Right.
Now, if you were to receive additional information about a situation, a person, about yourself, could your belief about yourself, about the situation, about the person change?
Not as quickly as you think it would.
No, but if you got additional information that you didn't know about,
yes,
your belief about the situation would change.
Yes.
Right? So what does that say about your current belief? That it's only a partial truth.
Oh gosh, and you just hit me with that one.
Yeah, and that it's actually limiting. See, now this is important because think about how you can have two people go through exactly the same situation, but they live in completely different worlds.
Yeah.
Why? Because of what's happening here in the heart, because of the beliefs they have and the habitual thought patterns that are embedded inside of them, which actually form an image of self, an I am.
Nice. Now in the book, so guys, Troy has always told me this: don't read the book.
Yeah.
Study the book. So I've been stuck on page 30 for a while because I keep going back to several pages. And in the book, it talks about our minds and our bodies are like a servo mechanism.
Servo mechanism.
Can you explain my Jamaican accent? Can you explain a little bit about that, Troy?
Yeah. Okay. So your subconscious mind is what's called a servo mechanism. Think of it as a cybernetic mechanism. Servo mechanism meaning like if you were to shoot a torpedo in the water, it makes adjustments. It fails its way to the target. Think of your thermostat in your house. You have a thermostat in your house. Let's say you set the temperature to 73 degrees. And let's say that the temperature goes below 73. What happens? The fan turns on, right? The heater turns on until the temperature goes up to 73, and then the thermostat then turns everything off. And let's say you set the temperature at 73 degrees, and then it goes hotter than 73. What happens? The fan, the air conditioner turns on until the temperature goes down to 73, and then it turns everything off.
Right.
Okay. So that subconscious part of your mind is the servo mechanism that you have in you that runs based from whatever the conditioning is. And it literally turns on and off automatically based from whatever that program is. Another way to say this is that your subconscious mind is not loyal to you. It's loyal to the program in you. It's loyal to the program in you. And it will make adjustments automatically based from whatever those beliefs are, based from whatever those thought patterns are. Now, this is important because a lot of us, for instance, there's a lot of people I speak with, they want to earn a lot more money.
Yeah.
You know, how would you like to turn your annual income into your monthly income? Does that sound great?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you be able to turn your annual income into your monthly income if the program in you is rooted from lack, limitation, I can't, I'm not smart enough?
Right. No.
Or only smart people can do that. See, that's conditioning, that's programming. See, and so if you want to make the change, you can use this servo mechanism in you, which is actually something that's automatic. That's extremely important. It works flawlessly based from what the conditioning is that's inside of you, and it does everything that it can to reinforce whatever that program is, and it will help you to get there. But it's important that if you want the change to happen on the outside, you've got to change what's happening on you in the inside automatically. It's kind of like this. I'll ask you this question. Will you ever be able to get what you want if you're focusing from what you don't want?
No.
You can't.
No.
Yet, the conditioning in us, it's there, it's embedded, it's habit. And it's the habits that we got from other people that are rooted from lack and limitation. And we don't even think about it anymore. Why? Because it's automatic.
Right.
And so we want to be successful. You know, we want to earn a heck of a lot more. We want to do those crazy, awesome things. But guess what's on autopilot inside of us?
Those thoughts.
Those thoughts.
Yeah.
Those beliefs, which are nothing more than a bunch of ignorance.
Let's dive deeper into this, Troy. These beliefs and these thoughts and actions and habits that we have, you mentioned it in a way from the frame of your stick figure, and you talk about it in the form of paradigm. Can you just bring that figure out and then explain to us about this paradigm? And Harvey is saying this is amazing.
Okay.
So if you guys have any questions for Troy or myself, please put it in the comments and I will see it and I will get to it once there's a break in between our conversation. Okay. So can you expand a little bit on this?
Yes. Paradigm, the word paradigm is the most important word for you to understand. Because if you cannot explain to someone what a paradigm is, then you have no idea how much it's running your life. Okay, now we talked about self-image, I am. Well, the program that's in the heart is what's called a paradigm. Okay? And your paradigm is actually really super simple. A paradigm is a mental program. Yes, you have a mental program in your mind, in your heart, actually. It's a mental program that has almost exclusive control over your habitual behavior. Now, really soak this in. Within your heart, in the emotional part of your mind, you have a program there. It's a combination of your beliefs and your habits. And this program of your beliefs and habits, which is the paradigm, has almost exclusive control over your habitual behavior. So behavior meaning the actions you take.
Right.
Okay. Now there's a caveat here. There's an and. And almost all of your behavior is habitual. Now let that one soak in. Almost all the actions you take, we're talking about 97, 98%. I actually think it's closer to 99%. Almost all your actions are habitual. Think about when you drive your car. How much of your driving do you think about?
Not much at all.
That's right, because you've conditioned yourself to drive.
Right.
Hopefully you have really good habits.
Yes.
Okay. But think about that. When you make a decision to go somewhere, it's just automatic. You get your keys, whatever, you automatically put your seatbelt on. When you need to turn right, you don't say, I need to turn the steering wheel right. You don't, when you need to move forward, you don't say, I got to put my foot on the gas. You just put your foot on the gas.
Right.
When you need to brake, you don't think, I got to put my foot on the brake. It's just, boom, you put your foot on the brake.
That's right.
It's automatic. Now, just use that one example And then look in terms of just your day over the last 6 hours. Think about when you go to work. You have a routine, don't you?
Right.
Right. And if someone went to your desk and moved stuff around, you'd be going, ooh, right?
Yeah.
Right. And you automatically put things where you put them because of your habits.
Right.
Now let that soak in. See, that's your paradigm. Think about how you earn money.
Yeah.
You think about, that's an action. How, what you do to earn money, that's behavior.
Mm.
You follow me? And there's a routine that happens based on what the paradigm is, what you believe to be true.
Mm.
Here's a really great question. Are you earning what you're earning because that's what you want to earn?
No.
That's right. You're not. Or are you earning what you're earning because you're unaware of how to earn what you earn in a year, in a month?
Correct. Because I don't even focus on that. It's funny, like when you do your taxes.
Yeah.
When you get to taxes, that's when you think about your gross income. What is my gross income? And then, but in the monthly, I just accept that, go to work routinely, accept I'm going to get this amount every month.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, I'm like, oh, I made this much.
Yeah.
But if I want to make
isn't
more
it
than
interesting
that,
how that's what you get?
Exactly.
You get exactly what you ask for.
Exactly.
And most of the stuff that we ask for is rooted in habit. Remember, it's not because we don't want more. Intellectually, we want more. Right. But habitually, we think from whatever is in us in terms of habits. Now, this is important because another way that you can describe a paradigm is it's a multitude of habits. You are the kind of person you are because you have formed the habit of being that person.
Right.
Let that one simmer a bit. I'm going to say it again. You are the kind of person you are because you have formed the habit of being that person.
Yeah.
Okay. People form habits. Habits form futures.
Right.
If you want to change your life, you have no other alternative but to change the habits that you have. Now, I'm not talking about mechanical habits because it's important to really understand this. There's really no such thing as quote unquote muscle memory. People call it that. What it is it's a fixed idea of moving in your mind that recognizes how to move those muscles. See, action is secondary. This action is always secondary. Here's an example. Just raise your hand real quick. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Isn't it interesting how you just did as I instructed? Having said this, it was a thought first.
Right.
It was the thought first. See, the action is secondary. Matter of fact, it's an illusion to think or believe that you have the free will to act. You don't. What the only free will that you have is the free will to choose your thoughts. And those thoughts determine your feelings, and the actions just happen. The actions always happen secondarily.
I love it.
Okay. Now soak this in, because again, we're talking about paradigms. And that's what I love to help people to change. And because most people don't think about this. How many people do you know in your circle of friends, acquaintances, family, even know in any way, shape, or form that they're even running on a program? Hardly any.
Not that many. Yeah.
Yeah. You probably couldn't even count them on one hand.
Yeah, no.
Most people are always saying, oh, they're accepting things as they are. And they're always talking about what they don't want.
Yeah.
Right? They're talking about the things they don't want. Why is nothing changing? It's not fair. This is not happening. Why is that changing? This is fair. This is not fair. This is horrible. Why is nothing changing? Why? Because you're giving energy to what you don't want. Whatever you give energy to is what grows.
Oh, we talk about growth.
Yeah. See, that's a paradigm, though. That's a paradigm. And if you don't learn to change all the time, you got to change the paradigm. Otherwise, nothing changes. You want to hear something really awesome? Really think about this. Again, this goes to paradigm. It's the paradigm. It's your paradigm that determines your results, not what you know. Now,
say that again.
It's your paradigm what's here in the heart, those beliefs and habits that determines your results, not what you know.
Okay.
I want you to think about all the things that you know. You know a lot of really great information that would improve your life dramatically if it was implemented, correct?
Correct.
And you know a lot. And this is, by the way, I'm not just picking on you. This is the way it is with everyone.
No.
Okay. We have superior knowledge. Yet very few of us are doing just even 5% of what we know.
Yeah.
Right? Now think about that. You know a lot. And isn't it interesting how it doesn't matter what you know? Because what's in the heart is what determines the results. And see, now why would it be the case that even though you know that you've got to do something, why wouldn't you do it? Why is it so difficult for you and me and for all of us to literally act on the very things that would change our life? When you know that we've got to act on it, yet we don't do it. Habit. There you go.
What we feel and believe.
That's right. It's because of what's automatic in us. It's because of what feels normal to us. And so there's another angle there with regards to what I'm sharing.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to change what feels normal to you. You've got to change what's automatic in you if you want the results in your life to change.
You're going to hear that again, folks. But Harvey just said, sir, you have changed my life in such a short space of time. You are amazing. And to what you just said, she said, true. And that's
love
so
you, Harvey.
True. Yeah, we love you, Harvey. You are phenomenal. Let's do a little shift here for a second before we go back to paradigm, because this is really deep and I absolutely love it. We know that there are laws of the universe, and the secret was kind of a part of it. But can you tell me a little bit about what about these laws and how they affect how we're able to use them to change our paradigms?
Yes, this is extremely important.
Yeah.
We live in a universe of laws. So we have our subconscious mind, which is our individual mind, right? And then we have the universal mind. Now, our subconscious is within all of this. Having said this, I'll just tap into, for instance, the thoughts that you think is the law from which you operate. Okay, put it that way, it gets enforced, right? But in terms of universal laws, the thing that both of them have in common is they always get enforced regardless of whether or not you're ignorant or knowledgeable about those laws. They always get enforced. Now, one of the laws, it's a big one, is the perpetual transmutation of energy. Everything is always moving into form. Just think in terms of like water. You take water and then you can drink it, right?
Right.
And then let's say you take that same water and pour it into a pot, and then you place it on a stove. And then you start to heat up the pot so that the water starts to boil, right? What's happening is the molecules are speeding up. Starts to boil, and then it creates steam. Okay, now the steam starts to rise, you see it, and then eventually as it goes up and it thins out even more, it disappears into the ether. Okay, follow me? So you got the water, which turns into steam, which then turns even to a finer way than what it was in water.
Right.
And here's the big question for you. Has the water disappeared? No, it hasn't. It's just moved into a different form.
Right.
Okay, well, guess what? There's a perpetual transmutation of energy. Everything's always moving into form. And in terms of moving into form, it's either creating or disintegrating.
So it still exists.
That's right. Everything, like if you just think in terms of what you would love to happen for your life, like for instance, I carry a gold card with me. This represents an ideal for me, like what I would love to happen for my life. Now, this already exists. It's just not there materially. And see, this must move into form if I internalize it and hold it.
Right.
Okay. And it's really important because, again, a lot of us, when we want change, we want these really great ideas, but the things that we're emotionally involved with are things that are of the opposite. And then that's what moves into form, a lot of disintegration, and it's not good. Having said this, understanding that everything always moves into form, and that there's another law that's tied to it, which is cause and effect. Right? Cause and effect. With every effect, there's a cause, sowing and reaping.
Right.
See, you always reap what you sow. Matter of fact, you have no right to reap where you have not sown.
In the church, we say amen.
Yeah, right? Now that's okay, because that's a law that gets enforced,
right,
regardless of whether or not you're knowledgeable or ignorant of it.
Right.
And a lot of us, it's like, you say, we want this, but then we forget like what we're sowing, or what we unconsciously have been sown because of all the ignorance that's been dumped into us. See, and there's even more, but the whole point is with regards to these laws. Another one is vibration. Okay, vibration is huge. The Secret introduced people to the law of attraction. Attraction's a real thing. Yeah. Having said this, attraction's a secondary law. Right. It's a secondary law, yet The Secret led you to believe that it's the primary law. And it's not, because attraction is completely dependent on the primary law, which is vibration, which is frequency, how you feel.
Yeah, how you show up.
And all this stuff that I'm sharing with you is helping you to understand that, you can change the vibration you're in.
Right.
Matter of fact, that's what I help people to change beautifully. When you change the frequency you're on, it naturally attracts to you whatever's in harmony with that frequency. There's no such thing as opposites attract.
Yeah.
Paula Abdul had it wrong.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. It's like attracts like. Just like you and I, we were just talking about this earlier, you say, "Oh, you're so awesome." I go, "Then that means you're awesome, because like attracts like."
That's right. Like a mirror.
That's right. That's right.
Law of reflection.
Yeah. So here's another way for you to really think in terms of these laws, because this is, again, extremely important. These laws of the universe are amoral. They don't care about you. Now think about this. The laws of the universe are amoral. Just like your subconscious mind, your individual mind is amoral. It doesn't care about you. Remember what I talked about earlier when I said your subconscious mind is loyal to the conditioning. It's not loyal to you. Having said this, it's dependable based from whatever the conditioning is there, and you get to determine what the conditioning is. Now think about that. You have within you a servant that's loyal to whatever conditioning you place in front of it. Now you have laws of nature. You have laws of the universe, you have laws of nature. And this is a perfect example to help me to illustrate to you how the laws don't care.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Okay, so here I have my wallet. Okay. Now there's a law of nature called gravity. Does gravity care about this wallet?
No.
It doesn't give a crap. When I let it go, it's going to fall. If I let it go from here, it's going to fall.
Right.
With regards to these sticky notes, does it give a crap between the wallet and the sticky notes? No.
No.
It doesn't care.
You're going to fall. You're going to fall.
When I let go, I can throw this from the roof. It doesn't care if I drop my animals. I'm not going to do that. But it doesn't really care. It doesn't care like if I place the stove in my kitchen versus in the living room.
Now, Troy, when you were mentoring me, and I'm going to use the word mentor because we're going to come back around to that word. You mentored me in understanding this about the laws, that in our heart, which has our paradigms, and we're running on subconscious and automatic, it's like growing seeds, and the seeds is inside of our hearts, right? And so sometimes there's so much weeds inside of it based on our thoughts, right? Or our beliefs, that sometimes it overcrowds it.
That's right.
And we have to make, I think your mentor, and we want to talk about your mentor, Bob Proctor. He says you got to make space in order for the good stuff to grow.
Yeah,
Can
that's
you
right.
one talk about your mentor,
Yes.
Bob Proctor, and what he meant about that and about that?
Yeah.
Because I think it's summing up the thought and the importance of what our paradigms is and how it affects our growth.
Yeah, this is extremely important because the beliefs and habits that you have, most of them came from other people. Yeah. And they were planted there by well-intentioned people. So this is no disrespect on your parents. And by the way, I want to emphasize something extremely important. Everyone is doing the best that they can with the awareness that they've got.
That's right.
The overwhelming majority of people, they don't even know that they're running on a program. They don't understand that it's their beliefs and habits that are determining the results. Yeah. So in other words, when they try to help you, they're helping you rooted from ignorance, not knowing. And if you think in terms of the main reason why it's so difficult for us to change, it's not because of human nature. That's a lie. That's a facade. It's not true. The reason why it's so difficult for us to change is because of how prevalent ignorance is around us. Now, really, think about this. You could have well-intentioned parents who just desire the best for you. Okay? They just want you to live life to its fullest. But then throughout your life, as you're going through them, this has happened with many. It happened with me growing up. There are constant things that are said over and over again. We can't afford that. 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 Not only through words, but also through actions. Right. And it's done, and it's said so much and has done so much that ultimately it comes down to now, I can't afford that. I can't, you know what? That's too expensive. That costs too much. That's too expensive. That costs too much. You know what the number one thing that the overwhelming majority look at when they go shopping? The price tag.
Right.
Why? You know why? Because they're trying to fit it into their limited resources that were caused from limited thinking. Let that one soak in.
You know what? My son turned 18 on December 31st, and he wanted to get a hotel. And when he told me the price of the hotel when he came back home, it was over $500. I was like,
okay, I said, see?
Do you have the money to pay for that? He's like, Mom, I didn't care. I had fun. It was my 18th birthday, and that's what I wanted. The money that I need to pay the bill is going to come.
Yeah. Now, isn't it interesting how it was automatically,
yeah.
Now, you shouldn't think like that.
Right. Right.
But because it's part of your paradigm.
I was concerned for him because I know he didn't have $500.
Yeah, but the fact is he found it, didn't he?
That's right.
See, yeah. So you see, now look at this. This is actually a perfect example.
Yes.
You're a loving mother.
Yes.
Yet the limitations that you have that are automatic in you, which you got from your parents.
Right.
And they got them from their parents, and they got them from their parents, are now automatic in you.
Yes.
Now really think about that, because I want you to think about how that's affecting every area of your life. Every freaking area of your life. And remember, it's not because that's what you want something different. You intellectually know that you shouldn't. Yet, isn't it interesting how now I'm coming full circle?
Yeah.
It's your paradigm that determines your results, not what you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now apply that for anything. Apply that for anything. It doesn't matter what it is. One of my favorite lines to share, it comes from Neville Goddard's book. That's where I got it from Awakened Imagination. Those that go seeking for love only may manifest their own lovelessness.
Yeah.
And the loveless never find love.
So true.
Only the loving find love, and they never have to seek for it. See, it's all rooted in who you are being. And who you are being is rooted in your beliefs. Yeah. I mean, think about like Nike's slogan. Yeah. Just do it. Right? We've all heard it, right?
Right.
It's sexy, right? Just do it, right?
You've told me different, so I'm going to be
Okay.
quiet on this one.
Just do it. Just do it, right?
Do it.
So all of us know that we've just got to do it.
Right.
Yet, what is the percentage of people that just do it?
Not many.
Yeah, the athletes, the high achieving athletes do it.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see them, you know, like I remember when Kobe Bryant was here, you just do it. Yeah, just do it. Well, and then everybody, okay, how? I know I've got it. How? Right?
Right.
Well, you know why? Because in order for you to do, you must first be. See, the proper statement, the proper power statement is not just do it. It's just be it.
Be it.
You've got to be the person in order to do, and then you will have. And see, this is unfortunate because if you think in terms of just do it, what is it? That deals with the behavior, that deals with the secondary, deals with the symptom. When in fact, you have to deal with the cause, which is who you're being. If you want real life to change, you've got to change who you are being. And guess what? I've said this several times. Who you are being is rooted in what you believe to be true about yourself and those automatic thought patterns that are in you. And if you don't change that, nothing changes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Harvey says, I resonate with every word. Mind blowing.
So good.
But that leads us right into the next part of our phrase, because now you understand that what's going on, if you don't change what's going on in here, it's not going to change this. So without a goal, there is no growth, you tell us all the time. Yeah. What is the importance of setting goals?
Well, here's a really great question. What's the purpose of a goal?
To achieve a desire that you want.
That's what most people think.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
The purpose of a goal is to grow. When you grow into the person, you achieve the thing. The thing is nothing more than an effect that reveals who you grew into.
Yeah.
So this is important because you've got to set goals that are through the roof. I mean, seriously, because if you think in terms of how most people set their goals, most people set their goals rooted from the limiting beliefs that they have,
right? From
what they habitually think in their minds.
Yeah.
Right. And Bob talks about this so beautifully. There's like an A-type goal, which is a goal that you know you can do.
Right.
So let's say like your income right now was $75,000 a year. You setting a goal for 80,000 or 85 is something you already know you can do. That's not a goal at all.
Right.
You're just actually inviting more of the same. And then there's what's called a B-type goal. Okay. This is the goal where you say something like this. Well, if this happens, and then this happens, and this happens, and if I get all these pieces together, then I can instead of 75, do 100 or 120.
Yeah.
Okay. If all these pieces together. So in other words, you think you can do it with the plan that you think is going to work, not understanding that the plans that you make are rooted from what you currently understand and what you're currently aware of. And what you're currently aware of and what you currently understand only knows how to deliver your current results. Okay, so now let that one soak in. So you said that's setting a B-type goal, which is actually a lot more of the same.
Right.
Yet, here's the big question. Do any of us want more of the same? No. Have you noticed that embedded within you, because of who you truly are, which is this incredible spiritual being, God made you in his image, right? Mm-hmm. You have an imagination. In the beginning, there was the word. You think about this. You're a creative being. Have you noticed that embedded within you is this natural desire to grow, to want more?
Yeah.
Okay, well, see, that's the real you speaking out. So you had those A-type goals, the B-type goals, and now you have the C-type goal. The goal that stretches you, that causes you to risk, to bet on yourself, that goes well beyond, or I should say way beyond, what you currently understand, what you're currently aware of. In other words, you have no idea how you're going to do it. See, when those are the types of goals that you should set. And when you set those types of goals, and then you focus from them, because once you focus on them, you got to shift it from focusing on to focusing from. what starts to happen, you start to change. You start to maneuver and go through the challenges, and you literally grow. See, remember, the purpose of that goal is not to get the thing, it's to grow into the person who does it. And see, this is why it's so important when you're setting your goals that you completely disregard how. If you know how you are going to get there, wherever that is, it's the wrong goal.
Because you tend to, if you know how to get there, then something comes in your way as you go along the road. You know, a new car or something distracts you. You veer off.
Well, it goes deeper than that, because if you know how to get there, that means you're doing something you already know. Okay, and you don't want the same. See, that's the whole point. The whole point is to recognize that you are a magnificent spiritual being that has embedded within you this natural desire to grow and want more. That's literally the God within you. Seriously, it's just like power. It's incredible. You get to imagine whatever you want. You were given an imagination for one reason, and that's to use it. You know, so many people are, going around, I'm waiting for God to give me a sign so that he'll tell me what to do. He's already given you the answer.
Yeah.
You know how he gave you the answer? He gave you an imagination. Use it. It's your job is to decide what you want, and then God's job is to do the work.
Wow. You have a couple of comments here, Troy. May I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
Ray's Deal says, like the idea of art-earned money when we were talking about the money for my son. And then Harvey says, I resonate with their every word, but I'm setting the C-type goals, she says.
Yes, of course.
And then, I love it too. And then Raymond Ramos says, you are on the same level if you know how.
That's right. And none of us wants the same. Isn't that interesting, right?
Right.
Okay. You got to change that.
So with that change, though, you've already told us this. Our limiting beliefs will affect how our dreams comes out, our goals, whether we achieve them or not. So can you just reiterate real quick, maybe 1 or 2 sentences about how important it is to be aware of the limiting beliefs?
Yeah. So one of the exercises that I give to people in terms of, finding out what they want for their life is to get 2 sheets of paper out. And then on the first sheet of paper, just write down how things are. This is not a time for you to kick yourself in the ass or be hard on yourself. This is just a time for you to separate what you want from how things are right now, because most people's lives is intermingled. There's no separation. And write down what you would love for your life. I mean, how things are right now, especially what you're dissatisfied with. Okay, dissatisfaction, by the way, is amazing.
No.
Dissatisfaction is a creative state. Think about your iPhone, or if you have an Android. Think about this technology that we have right now. Solely came out because someone was dissatisfied with how we were communicating. So if you're dissatisfied right now in a big way, you've got to understand that you are in an incredible, powerful, creative state. You got to use that to your advantage. So be grateful, but dissatisfied. Okay, always, literally, never ever seek to be, quote unquote, satisfied. Never be ambivalent. Okay. Now, you write that on the first page, and then on the second page, write this one question. If anything is possible, what would I love for my life, both personally and professionally? Now, notice how in that question, there's no limitation. It's simply, if anything is possible. Why? Because it is done unto you as you believe, right? You've got to have faith in that's what we're taught. Right. And it's actually a true statement. It's going to, the things that you want to achieve in this world are not impossible. They're possible if you believe. Okay. Now, when you write that second page, if you are answering from the heart, okay, and you're writing down what you would truly love for your life, there's going to be 2 battling emotions that are literally butting heads. One is, it'd be amazing and exciting. And then there's going to be the limiting beliefs. Who are you to do this? It's like, that's not how we've done things before. Oh, don't you remember how, only smart people can do that? That's too expensive. Remember, where are you going to find the time? Where are you going to find the money? We can't be greedy. We're good people. That's ridiculous. Okay. Having said this, if you answer the question properly, those limiting beliefs will speak up loudly. Now, it's important to recognize that the louder those negative voices are, the more important it is for you to write those ideas down. Because those limiting beliefs, those limiting thoughts, of which are not yours, you got them from other people, are the very things that's stopping you. And it's so important, because if you do not get rid of that, then you're just going to deliver more of the same. Think about like the power of that program. Limitation. I'm broke. I can't do this. This is the end. It's just fill in the blanks in regards to all that limitation. See, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so the reason why I brought that up in terms of that second page is to help you to recognize what your belief system really is. So the more discomfort you feel with writing those really great ideas, the better it is for you, and more important it is for you to write down those ideas, because that represents a version of you that's closer to the real you than who you are right now, or who you're being. You will never, ever, ever go further than what you believe to be true. Which means you've got to change that. Now, we talked about this earlier. Is what you believe about yourself the truth, or is that just your truth? See, it's just your truth, but it's not even the truth. It's just a partial truth.
Partial truth.
Rooted from limitation.
Wow. So Troy, we got this. We know our limiting. We wrote the paper down, and now we come to this part where we're applying everything, but then it starts dying away, and we become indecisive about really going forward.
Yeah.
You said something in one of your TikTok about indecisiveness.
Yeah.
Really, especially when I joined your book club, you start at 7:30 in the morning. I normally wake up at 8:30, and I was like, I'm not doing it. But then I made a decision. I said, how important was it for me to change? What is it that I wanted? So I looked at my goal and I said, to change, I have to change. I need to get up at 7. And so I had to make a decision. You know what? Every time before I go to bed, I said, I'm going to get up at 7. I decide I'm going to get up at 7. And so can you tell us a little bit about the importance of that ability to just tell your mind, I am going to decide to do this?
Yeah. So this is great, because there's a question here. There's actually two different things that we're talking about here. One is you apply the rules, you work on it, and then the failure happens. Okay. And then the other one is decision as well. Now, this is extremely important. And I'm going to dig into both of these because you need to understand them.
Yeah.
Let's say like you are persistent. And then you're using the law of assumption, which is one of my favorite laws. Because the assumptions you make is what determines your reality, not the facts. Okay. Let's say like you're assuming the best and you're being persistent, but then the failure still happens. What's the reason for the failure? That's a great question, right? You're assuming the best, you're being persistent. Why is the failure still happening?
Some limiting beliefs came pop back in.
Well, actually, it's actually deeper than that, because it has to do with it feeling normal for you. Okay, it has, and I'm going to read this to you because this comes from Power of Awareness, which is the next book that we're going to be studying in my study group.
Oh, nice.
So listen to this about failure. Okay. If you've been consistent, persistent, you've been assuming the best, and you're still hitting the failure, and it's kind of like you're getting frustrated, whatever, right? Then what's the real reason for the failure? Listen to what he says here. The answer to this is the most important factor in the successful use of the law of assumption. Again, where does assumption happen? It happens in your mind. And the assumptions you make, when they're repeated, they become fixed. Okay. So the answer to this is the most important factor in the successful use of the law of assumption. The time it takes your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you desire. It has to do with what feels normal for you. It has to do with what feels automatic in you. So if you keep hitting the failure and it's not hitting you, it's because, if you're not getting it, it's because you haven't met that normalness yet inside. You're still wanting it. It hasn't shifted from I wanted to this is who I am.
How about if you try? Because
same thing. Don't ever allow try to be part of your vocabulary.
Trying hard is not enough, right?
No, there's no. I'll give you an example. Lift up your pen real quick in your right hand. Okay. Try to take your pen out of your right hand with your left.
You did this before, and I'm going to.
No, you didn't listen to me. You took it out of your hand. Now try to take it out of your right hand with your left. Now you're not doing anything. See, the point is, it's either you're going to do it or you don't.
Yes.
See, and that has to do with the second thing that you're putting in here. You've got to make a decision. This is done. This is finished. There's no other alternative but success. Okay, and that's where you're going to do this. Now, I want to read this last little thing here. The fact that it does not feel natural to you to be what you imagine yourself to be is the secret of your failure. Regardless of your desire, regardless of how faithfully and intelligently you follow the law, if you do not feel natural about what you want to be, you will not be it. And he gives the example, if it does not feel natural for you to get a better job, you will not get a better job.
Nice. So you have to feel natural. You have to feel it exists as if it's just...
Feeling is the secret.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Troy, this is just, we can go so far, but I want to shift a little bit about who you are and about your opinion on mentorship. You have so much to give that we can stay on here for hours, and I don't want to do that because I want to respect your time. Your time is so precious to us. But we need to have people like you in our world, mentors in our world, life coaches like myself. Can you tell me your opinion on the importance of folks who are living in an habitual way, the way they're thinking? Sometimes they need help. They need to have mentors to help them through that. So can you tell us a little bit about your mentor, Bob Proctor, and some of the things that he said that really pulled you into the person that you are?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. All of us need help.
Yeah.
You will never find anyone who has achieved exceptional results who did not have a mentor or a group of mentors. I'll give just an example with regards to baseball. Okay. My son, he has this strong desire to be a professional baseball player. And that's what I help him to maintain as far as his image is concerned. Having said this, he could read all the books on baseball necessary. He can get all the knowledge, watch all the YouTube videos. But it's not until he's with a mentor, someone who's there who can help correct and speed up the process of his growth, that the exponential growth happens.
Right.
Okay. It's when you have someone who's been there, who can help you to see things that you haven't seen, that helps you to grow dramatically. And that's where, someone asked me recently, what would be the number one piece of advice that I would give my 20-year-old self? And that is, find a mentor who understands how to think, who understands who they truly are, okay, which is not the body, your spirit with a body, not a body with a spirit, and how their marvelous, miraculous, incredible, powerful mind works, someone like Bob Proctor, and then get that person as a mentor and do exactly what they tell you to do. And if you think in terms of what a mentor does, a mentor saves you time. And time is your most valuable asset. There's nothing more valuable to you than the time that you have.
Yeah.
Now think about that. If you want change to happen, it's fantastic if you're doing self-study. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
If you're reading books, and by the way, it's not really going to be good for you to read the books. You got to study and apply them. But if you're studying and applying on your own, that's fantastic. But that's the slowest way for you to attain exponential growth. Why? Because you're learning based from what you're currently aware of and what you currently understand as you figure it out. See, a mentor helps you to deliver quantum leap growth. You know, it's so funny. I heard Bob talk about in his book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. This is a great book. All of you should get this book. You know, he talks about how it took him, you know, he's been studying this for 67 years. And he says, it took me a long time to get there, but it shouldn't take you that long because I'm showing you how to do it. Well, see, I'm a serious student of what Bob teaches. And what I do is I facilitate what he teaches. I actually teach what Bob teaches. And that's what I love to do. And I use it in my own life. And that's actually the most important thing for you to do is get someone who understands cause and effect, who understands the laws.
Right.
I'll give you an example. If I've been able to help you to understand something much quicker, that means I'm communicating it to you very well. See, I've saved you time.
Right.
And the only reason why I'm able to do that is because I use it in my life. Now, think about that. How much time has been saved in this short call to where you didn't have to really dig for it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where a mentor saves you time. And see, and being decisive is extremely important. So for all of you out there who are listening right now, the number one thing for you that I can recommend for you, and I can't recommend it any more than I'm recommending it right now, get a mentor today.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be me. Just get someone, and it does matter who they study from. Get someone who studies Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
That guy, there's no one alive today who's been studying this longer than he has. No one. That means he's got a tremendous amount of wisdom. And he's literally the best in the world.
Yeah.
Study someone who is passionate about what he teaches, who uses it in their lives, and then literally just do whatever you've got to do to get that person to mentor you. If you want it to be me, I'm here. It's not a matter of whether or not I'm here. I'm here. It's not up to me whether or not I will mentor you. The invitation is already open. It's about whether or not you're going to decide to get uncomfortable, because you're going to get uncomfortable with me.
Right.
You will not find anyone who will root for that higher version of yourself than me.
Amen.
Okay.
Harvey says yes, yes. Troy, how can we find you?
Well, it's very simple. My name's right down here on this side. I guess it's right here. I got to point to the right place here. Okay. Just go to my website, troyrchadwick.com. The quickest way for you to get into it, join my study group.
Yeah.
My study group rocks. It is so good. That's a wonderful way to get started in this wonderful, beautiful world of personal development. It's super, super inexpensive. It really doesn't cost hardly anything. It's literally only $99 a month. And in terms of what you get from it, you talk about a beautiful, amazing group of people. Yes, beautiful group. And then if you want to take it a step higher, where you're dealing with even more beautiful intensity, then we can have a conversation to go beyond that. But having said this, you don't need to go there right now. Just join the study group. Yeah. You know, right now we're currently studying psycho-cybernetics. Okay. Join the study group. And then if you join the study group and you mentioned that you were here with me, with Aletha, I will send you the next book that we're going to study. I'll literally send it to you. Okay.
Amen.
And the key is I use principles. The principle of auto-suggestion. I'm repetitive constantly. You see me and heard me be repetitive here. I do it on purpose.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I understand that repetition is the mother of learning. Okay. Now, here's a big reminder, though. As inspiring as this information is, as enlightening as it is, as you know, as the aha moments have come in, this information is not going to change your life unless you apply it persistently. And that's the key.
Oh, you just cut out my question, Troy.
Right, there we go.
Well, you're beautiful, Troy. I can summarize, but I want to give you this last question and this last statement. Can you just tell us?
Lost your sound. Lost your sound. Hello. I can't hear you. I'm with you spiritually, though. Yeah, you unplugged it. It's so good. I love this. See, this is where we get to decide whether or not we allow the circumstances to control us or whether or not we're going to operate from what we want.
We're back. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
I love you.
Love you too.
So you tell us all the time, Troy, and in the study group we hear this all, and you ask us at the end of the study group, how do we do this? Study and apply, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really absolutely love it. But can you just summarize a little bit about everything that we're just talking about? And I think I'm just going to leave this one impress phrase here, and just take it away.
Yeah. So the words that you use are powerful, but it's important for you to understand where the words are coming from. They come from your thoughts. Now think about that. The words are the after part. That's the after effect. The words are what you use to describe thoughts. When you put words together, they form a sentence, and that sentence has meaning. The words have meanings, which means the words that you use have power. They have a tremendous amount of power. Now, I want to go back again to the beginning part. Yes, the words that you use are powerful, but what's more important is the deeper part. It's what's happening before the words. It's what's happening in your imagination. When you learn to control your imagination, you literally become master and commander of your life. And unfortunately, most people's imaginations are controlling them because of the limitation that's here in the heart. Well, what I love to help people with is to help them to gain incredible control of the images they hold. Why? Because those images, what's in imagination, turns into results. Steve Harvey said something so beautiful, and I repeat this quite often. Your real life, the one that God gave you, lives in your imagination, not in your current circumstances, conditions, and results. Why? Because those are the effect of what happened in imagination. And if you've been living your life based from your circumstances, conditions, and results, then you've been restricting yourself to something that doesn't even belong to you. You've got to live from those wonderful, big, beautiful ideals and impress them into your heart so that you can materialize them. Remember, we do not live in a material or physical world. Even though you can touch things and stuff, we live in an imaginal world. 100% of everything that you see around you right now came from someone's imagination. See, it came from thought. And you have access to an infinite amount of thought. And if you want to gain an incredible amount of control of your thoughts, to be able to think into results, the life of your dreams, then let's have a serious conversation.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Troy, for coming on and for the hour and 13 minutes that you went over. And I took 13 extra minutes of your time, but those 13 minutes were so precious to me and to everybody else who are listening. Because, Troy, what we do, and when I do these podcasts, I hope that people are hearing notes of hope from these agents of change that I discover and find and ask and invite onto these podcasts, because that is my sole purpose, is to invite agents of change like Troy on board, and to have these notes of hope to let you know that we can change, but we have to change our limiting beliefs first. And so thank you so much, Troy, for your
You're welcome,
beautiful
love.
and valuable time. So we're going to finish with a little chair rock, because I think I need to teach Troy a little bit more about chair dancing. Let's do it, guys. Come on, Troy.
Is that better?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.